Hi there. In this video, we're going to be hunting for some petrified wood, designing our own mold, and pouring our own case. So, without further ado, let's get outside and get hunting. This type of fossil we're after is formed when wood gets buried under sediment. The lack of oxygen means the organic material doesn't decompose over time, and instead mineral-rich water fills the wood, producing the stone-like fossil over a period of a few thousand years. Right now I'm searching an old riverbed, but other good places to look are gullies, lake shores, badlands, and any sort of sediment-rich areas. Here's a fossil that I found that I like the looks of, and this is the one I'll select for my project. For the mold, you could line some MDF boards or plywood with packing tape to act as a brake and screw it together. Or in my case, I'm just going to go ahead and measure it so I can design and print off my own mold to the shape that I want. You could use any CAD software you want for the design. In my case, I'll be using Fusion 360 since it's free, and the design itself is pretty simple. I'll just be sketching a rectangle and extruding it out to a little over the size of my stone. The only thing to note is I'll be keeping the wall thickness deliberately thin at around 1.2 millimeters. This is to make it easy to peel. I also like the look of rounded corners, so I'll add a small fillet into all four. For the print settings, since I am going to be using a material, TPU, that does bond to epoxy, I'll be using a small layer height of 0.1 millimeters and enabling ironing to smooth the bottom surface. I find this also reduces the amount of sanding I have to do in the end. As we can see, the material is quite flexible, and this will make it easier to peel once it's cured, but one thing to note is epoxy is an exothermic reaction, and while I haven't had any issues with a small pour like this, the heat generated is something to keep in mind if you're encasing a large stone, since the thin walls may not resist deforming and thus losing your shape. And when we compare enabling ironing versus disabling it, we can see it does make a difference in the amount of sanding you have to do in the end. For the epoxy, I'm going to be using a 1-to-1 ratio of resin to hardener, and an epoxy that takes a while to cure. This slow curing is important since it gives us time to work the bubbles out. You'll also want to double check the label to see what the depth the epoxy is meant for. Here, I can get away with the shallow pour since my depth is less than an inch. Once mixed, I'm going to start by pouring a little bit on the bottom and working the bubbles out. Once I let it sit for a few minutes, I'm just going to take a small hand torch and work out the bubbles that rise to the top surface. You'll want to keep the torch moving as you do this since you don't want to burn your epoxy. The reason I like to work the bottom layer first is I find if I just place the stone in and pour right away, I can get some air pockets trapped underneath. But once I work the bubbles that came to the surface out, I'll place my stone in and finish pouring the rest of the epoxy over top. Again, I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes and let those bubbles come to the surface, and I'm going to use a little tiny hand torch to work them out. I find a larger torch is just too much heat for a piece this size. For extra stubborn bubbles, I'll just take a toothpick and gently work it to the surface. Once cured, I'll just take a razor blade, and since the wall's really thin, I'll just cut through it and start peeling. Again, if you go the TPU route, it will bind to epoxy, so if you do happen to have a rough patch like I do, unfortunately it can kind of get stuck and take a little bit of effort to work out. But once it's broken out of the mold, this is what our piece looks like. The front's nice and clear, but there is some layer lines on the side that we'll have to sand out, and same with the back. To remove the lip on the front, I'm going to take some sandpaper with the hard backing and sand it down nice and flat. I'll then progressively work my way up in grit to around 1000 grit. And this is what it looks like after sanding. Nice and smooth, but still a little cloudy, so I'm going to move into a few different ways to finish it. One way is just to simply mix up some more epoxy and pour ourselves a top coat. I'll wipe up the edges, let it sit for a minute, and again work out any bubbles that come to the surface. This gives a crystal clear and a little bit of a glossy finish to it. Another way to finish it, and my personal favorite way, is just to keep going up in grit. Here at around 5000 grit, it's starting to get really clear again, and I'll just finish it by taking a little bit of polish and rubbing it in with a cloth. Although it's not as clear as just pouring more epoxy, you don't have to wait for it to cure, and I like the more of a matte finish you get with it. In all, we were able to hunt down a petrified fossil, pour ourselves a nice little case, and here we have a pretty looking paperweight. Thank you for watching.